Hello and welcome to my channel, Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and just maybe a stick of rock. Stick around, you never know. Welcome along, lads. I have a very, very interesting video today and absolutely fantastic guests. I have to my whatever over here, I have Steve from A is for Malice, B is for Bob, and C is for whatever you fancy yourself, I suppose. Brilliant channel he has over there. Steve, welcome to the channel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm looking forward to this album battle. Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say?
You looking forward to this?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Despite the fact that Glenn is laughing at me like I'm some kind of idiot, but yes.
And we have Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Glenn, welcome back.
Thank you, Pat. It's great to be on with all these incredible gentlemen here.
Absolutely. And you as well. You're incredible. Just take off your hat there and show the folks your head.
I can't. It's stuck on. It's my wig. It's a cheap wig is what a hat is.
And then we have Tom Curlis from Curlis Mania, who has a brilliant channel as well over there. Tom, welcome back to the channel.
Pat, it's so great to be here. Thanks for having me back. This is going to be a fun one today. This is
a fun one, and I will explain everything in a minute now to the viewers. And of course, we have Dermot here from Clonmel. Dermot, welcome back.
Thank you, Pat. Great to be back on the channel again. Looking forward to this one.
As we call Dermot down here, the Prog aficionado. That's what he's known as. Yeah. Well, we do proclaim you as the Prog aficionado.
Heavy title.
Anyway, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, today what we're doing, we have 6 albums from, I think, the big 6 in prog. Basically, these are the big 6. And we're rating them from 6 to 1, 12 points for number 1, 2 points for number 6. And we're going 3, 3, 3. The end, and we'll add them all up at the end, and we'll see which one out of us 5 comes out the best. And this is going to be very interesting, because these are not albums that are their big albums, but these are very important albums in their discography. Very important. And we're going to kick off with Dermot. Dermot, what is your number 6, 5, and 4?
Okay. Well, Pat, I did my usual thing. I got into these albums, pulled them all out, had to listen to them, thought, well, what way am I going to do this? 2 criteria. Number 1 was the journey that the album created for me. So it being a piece of prog, I feel there should be some sort of a journey as I go through the album, like most prog albums. And number 2 was just my own gut feel, okay? Because I'm sick of coming up with big theses on things and then everyone else just does what they feel is best for them or worst for them or whatever. So based on those criteria, I'm going to kick off. My number 6 is metal. I know that's going to be some sort of a terrible crime against music to some people, but I really view metal as a transitionary album. It kind of came between the 2 soundtracks that they were doing. It still is a transitionary album. I love Echoes to pieces, and it's one of these albums that I pick up and I will play Echoes, and that will take me on the journey. But when I put on side 1, I've got One of These Days, fabulous track. A Pillow of Winds, I can kind of take or leave. Fearless, I can kind of take or leave. Saint-Tropez isn't great, and I don't know what they were thinking with Seamus the dog on the tape. I think it's
no, I don't know either. No.
Any, I was on a stream one time and a guy called this a perfect album, and I just thought, what in the name of hell was he thinking? But I have to say, with Echoes, they hit pay dirt on this album, so that is absolutely
okay. Dermot.
The rest of it is flawed. Now the next one is going to be a passion play by Jethro Tull. Glenn, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Before I get stuck in, I think this is an amazing album. As far as taking you on a journey, it does take you on a journey, but there's something about the sound of it that at times when I'm on that journey, I just kind of phase out of it at times. You know?
Okay, Dermot, yeah. I think you're after phasing out there, Dermot. I think Dermot is after phasing out there.
Yeah.
He's
And
frozen on
I
a
think
patent
there's
for
a
it.
kind of a
There he goes.
There we go, Dermot.
slightly more metallic sound to it than there is on a lot of Jethro Tull.
Okay,
Oh,
Dermot.
am I gone? Am I gone? I'm back again. I'm back again.
You're
Right.
back again. You
So
were
I
gone.
hope
We
you
were,
got me on a passion play. Yeah,
maybe
I'm back in
maybe
again.
you actually maybe you hit the hair in the spectacles there. That's probably what happened there.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Okay.
You know. Okay, that we heard you. We
I
heard
could.
enough
Well,
anyway.
I quite enjoy the hair and the spectacles. I quite enjoy all of that. Yeah, but like it's there's a bit of a kind of metallic sound to it. Not enough kind of what I would describe as Tull. The next one is going to be Trilogy. Okay, Trilogy was the first Emerson, Lake and Palmer album I bought. It's one that I love. I love the way it opens. I love all of side one of it. But I do have to admit that on side two, that Abaddon's Bolero starts to wear on me after a while. It seems like a repetitive
don't like
piece
that,
of
no?
music that just goes on and on. No, it kind of wears me out after a while. If I don't hear it again, I'd be okay with that. And the Sheriff, I find, I know it's one of their funny throwaway things, but it just kind of seems to break the flow of side one to me. Okay. So Trilogy. And I'm picking holes in these things. They're all good albums, but I'm trying to find holes in them to rank them the way that you want, Pat. Okay.
Okay, Dermot. That's fair enough. I'm gonna just put down these marks here, lads. Okay. Now, Steve.
All righty. Man, I really wanted to be on the last one that you did, that you invited me for, because you did those 5 albums. When I was in a band, we did a song from every one of those albums. But I'm glad I could be on this one because these are big albums to me too. My first prog rock album I ever got was Fragile. So I was 15 years old, 1971. But let's get to this here. Number 6. A Passion Play. I've never been able to get into this album. I try. I mean, and I have it on CD. I have this. I have the book styled one that Steven Wilson did the remix on. Doesn't matter how many times I try. I kind of get lost with, you mentioned it, Dermot, the hair, spectacles. I can't stand that part. I just have to fast forward through that. To me, I'm always kind of surprised that War Child is the album that's sandwiched in between these two, because to me, this and Minstrel, they're kind of like sister albums. I don't know if you guys think that, but I always kind of felt that that's how those albums should have come in sequence. But I know even Ian Anderson said he thought they went a step too far with this album. And I know Martin Barr wasn't happy with it either. It surprised me that this album did better in the U.S. and Canada than it did in the U.K. I mean, it was U.S. and Canada. It was
number one on the Billboard. Number one on the Billboard in America.
Yeah.
A Passion Play.
And it's not an American style album at all.
No, it's not.
I think those sales were solely based on Reputation from
I'm sure a big part of that was advance orders. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not even in my top 10 Jethro Tull albums. So that being said, I want to thank you for my one and only chance of being part of this panel. Because
thank you.
I won't be invited back after that.
We hope we will.
All right. So number 5. I was late to the party with King Crimson. And so number 5 for me is Starless.
Interesting.
I didn't, I think I got courted Crimson King probably like in 71, also after coming across Fragile. And then I started kind of expanding my prog wings. And, but then that was it. I mean, I had court back then, and it wasn't probably wasn't until like 2019 that I got another King Crimson album, because guys I grew up with, they weren't into that kind of music. We were more kind of hard rock guys.
Yeah, I can understand that,
And I think John Wetton, he was the guy they needed. I mean, to go from Greg Lake to what they had for the next couple albums, John Wetton was a perfect guy to plug in on vocals. Excellent bass player too. So, and then number 3, because number 4, because when you sent the list of the 6 albums, I was like, well, I looked at them. I knew 1 and 2 would be duking it out. I knew who number 3 was going to be. So number 4, that goes to Nursery Crime.
Okay.
My first exposure to Genesis was I bought Foxtrot because I read a review about it, I think in Cream or Circus Magazine, and I brought it home, put it on the turntable, played it once, gave it to a friend, and I said, this just isn't for me. And then it took a long time for me to really to appreciate Genesis. Wasn't until I got, I don't know if you ever come across this book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have a copy of that. Yeah.
So it came out in 2007. I like to read rock history and biographies, whatever. So I bought it, even though I wasn't that big of a Genesis fan at that point. But since I had it, I like to listen to the discography over and over when I'm reading a book. So I bought up everything, and that's what made me become a bigger fan of them. I mean, Musical Box, what a way to start an album. I mean, just a fantastic song. It's funny, even this is a 2008 reissue, and Phil Collins he's not getting credit for lead vocals on that. It's that short little song right after Musical Box.
Oh yeah, what's the name of that track? I can't think of it.
Perhaps and Friends.
Yes.
So there you go. That is my 654.
And that's also the first album, Steve, that Bill Collins was on, and of course
Collins and Hackett.
Hackett. Yeah, that was their first.
They made the right hire.
They did indeed. Indeed. Thanks for that, Steve. Thanks very much, Mr. Kellaway from Ontario.
Kermit, this is why you didn't need to apologize. Number 6.
Oh my God!
It's one of my least favorite Jethro Tull albums. I echo everything Steve said. I don't get it. I can't stand that narrative in the middle. It just, like, right away, I just want to take the whole thing off. I don't even want to listen to the rest of it. There are some brilliant parts in it, which kind of kept me going back because there is some interesting stuff in there. I can't follow the story. I don't think it worked for what they were trying to do. And I understand they recorded this and wrote it and recorded it in 9 days to get an album out after the disaster, they call it in France.
The Chateau Disaster tapes, actually. They wrote so much stuff for that.
And other songs that they were that could have made this album, they didn't put on, like Skating Away on Thin Ice or whatever, ended up on War Child, I think. And so I don't know. It's number 6.
Yeah, most of the stuff actually they recorded in France. They shelved it, went back to the UK, wrote the album, but they had so many tracks, and a lot of the tracks ended up on War Child and Nightcap, which they brought out then in around early 90s. And then on the box set of Passion Play, everything is on it.
Yeah.
They recorded everything.
I had that box set and I traded it in because I never liked it. And now I'm mad at myself for trading it in because it's worth so much money.
I know. It's not that. No, it's not that expensive.
Number 5 would be Emerson, Lake and Palmer trilogy.
Sacrilege.
Couple of incredible songs in here. My favorite Emerson, Lake and Palmer song is From the Beginning, and it's on here, which is great. I love Hoedown.
It's not a cover version. Who wrote that originally? Hoedown.
Darren Copeland.
Yeah. Same as Fanfare for the Common Man, isn't it? Yeah.
If I'm ranking progressive rock bands, Emerson, Lake and Palmer is not in my top 5, I wouldn't think. So it's probably more the fact that I'm just not I really like Emerson, Lake and Palmer totally respect them, like a lot of stuff they do, but they're just this. I very rarely listen to them, so that's one of the reasons this album came in at number 5.
Okay.
And number 4 would be Genesis Nursery Crime.
Right.
Now, I didn't become a Peter Gabriel-led Genesis fan until the last few years. Like I just didn't like them for some reason. It just clicked at me in me. I think since I started listening to Steve Hackett and all the live albums he was putting out, doing all the Genesis stuff, because I found that was more guitar driven and everything. It kind of more appealed to me. And then I got into all the songs, and then I started going back and listening to all the Genesis albums and going, this stuff's awesome. But now they're one of my favorite bands. But this, if I was ranking the Gabriel era, this would be, besides the first one, the Revelation or whatever, this would be my least favorite of the 4 or 5 albums. Music Box, like Steve said, is great opening track.
Brilliant.
There's not a bad track on the album, really. It's a good, solid album. So I'm certainly not putting it down, but it's number 4.
Thanks for that, Glenn.
Because there's 3 more that are better.
Oh, obviously. Now, Tom.
All right, let's do this. I am also at the bottom, number 6. I have Passion Play as well. I couldn't find my vinyl. I was kind of like last minute looking for it. Couldn't find it.
Tom.
I've got the reissue and everything. So, the book version, whatever. And I'll tell you, Passion Play is one of those. Thick. It seems so dense and serious compared to like Thick as a Brick, for example. Like Thick as a Brick feels a little bit more like a goof, and hey, it's written by a 12-year-old boy, and it's kind of like they're joking around. And there's a lot of songs baked into Thick as a Brick. Thick as a Brick is one song, but it's like all these. You go, oh, there's a new song, there's a new part, there's a new, and you can kind of feel it, and it kind of rolls, And I just love Thick as a Brick so much. And then compared to that, Passion Play just seems very like almost like let's do it again, but we'll be more serious about it. And like it's about a guy dying and he's going to purgatory, and and then like you said in the middle, there's this kind of like hair into spectacles, and you're like, what? It's one of those records that it takes a long time to end. But that being said, it's still the height of Jethro Tull. I mean, they're still playing really well. There's the playing and ensemble playing on that record is fantastic, and there's still some great parts in it. So it's hard. It's not like I'm ripping on it. I think it's very good. It's just, I mean, when you put it in perspective, you guys were talking about the Chateau Disaster tapes. I mean, there's some great stuff there too. It's like, why didn't you guys just finish that? Like, why did you start over? Like, there's so much good stuff in the Chateau stuff. But I think they just were like so scarred by the experience at the studio, and it was horrible.
That's right, Jay. They were horrible.
Food poisoning, and it was all this stuff going on. They were like, let's just start over.
And they got out of there. Yeah, they got out of there.
So anyway, that's I have to justify all these, as everyone's saying, all these records are very good. You have to justify your position. So you feel like you're ripping on it, but you're really not. But Passion Play is number 6. Then I'm going Trilogy next. And it pains me to put it low, but at the same time, I feel like with ELP in their classic period, the classic run, this is probably the one I go to the least. I mean, I love Endless Enigma. I love that. I love From the Beginning. I think that's a fantastic Greg Lake song. I love Hoedown. I think Hoedown's a lot of fun. But I'm kind of with Dermot on this. The Abandon's Bolero kind of goes on a long time, and it doesn't really change. Like you're so used to ELP going and changing all these. It stays the same the whole time. It doesn't stay the same. I mean, it has more and more layers added to it as it goes, but it's the same exact rhythm the whole time. I mean, I like this album. I do like it quite a bit. As far as ELP is concerned, I think it's in their classic run. I love the debut, and I love Brain Salad Surgery, and I love the other ones. So a little bit better. So that being said, I got to go to Starless is my next one. Bible Black, King Crimson. this is another great record. I mean, I love Fracture. I think Fracture is crazy and crazy good in a way. Yeah, I love it. Starless, the title track, unbelievable. I love John Wetton's vocals on here. I think they're playing great. Great to see it was a great opener. I mean, I just, when it comes to this era, I like Red a little bit better, and I also like Lark's Tongues a little bit better. So it's sort of in between the two. So for me, it just, as far as King Crimson goes, I'm going to go either side of this record. So there you go.
Thanks for that, Tom. Interesting. Very interesting. That's actually very interesting scores, actually, so far. My number 6, lads, is Medal. And the reason why I would be the same as Dermot, I just think Echoes is an incredible track. And actually, I prefer it on the Live at Pompeii. I think there's even more bite to it. I like One of These Days, but the rest of the album doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? It just doesn't do anything for me. Released, 1971, and as Dermot said, it was kind of an in-between album. Finding their feet, you know what I mean? And of course, what they brought out then in 73, a different story altogether. But I think Echoes was the start of that. That long, what is it, 20 minutes long, Dermot? 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes long. But a brilliant. But it's still an album that I love listening, especially Echoes. But the second side, I wouldn't really listen to. Anyway, that's my number 6. My number 5, a passion play, and this is the book set. And I love it. I love the Stephen Wilson remix of A Passion Play. It actually brings it to life a little bit more to me. And I disagree with everyone who said this, but I love the spectacles. And for a simple reason, I love the Lancashire accent from the northwest of England. And Jeffrey Hammond is the one that narrates it. And I think it's so funny. You know what I mean? It's kind of to me, what it is, it's like going to a play in a theatre. And at the interval, someone has something funny for about 5 minutes or something. And to me, that's what that's like. It just breaks up the whole album. It's a real serious album. And right in the middle of it, he throws that in. Because he thinks you might be going too far. That's the way I look at that album. But I still love this album. And it would be, Steve, in my top 10, easily, of Jethro Tull albums. It's just that it had to be at number 5 because the other ones are just better. My number 4, and I hate putting this at number 4 because it's such a brilliant album. Nursery Crime. Like, I think it's an incredible album. You know what I mean? And I love the return of the giant hogweed on this one. I think it's Peter Gabriel really shown, like he had this weird lyrics, and I would have loved to see Genesis with Peter Gabriel. I don't know whether any of us have seen him with Peter Gabriel. I would love him. They must have been unique to see because it was theatrical. And they're telling this story. He'd dress up as dress up as a flower. He used to throw on a red dress, fox's head. Just brilliant. I think it's an amazing album. It really is. It's the start of their classic period, I think, where every album, including this, I think they're all masterpieces, to be honest with you. Anyway, that is my number 4. And we're going back now, Dermot. It's getting interesting now.
Oh, here we are. Yeah. I hope my mountain man broadband will stand up for this presentation.
I hope. Okay. Well, it stood up all along there. It stood up all along.
Okay, this isn't easy. This is terrible because I love all these albums, and I sounded a bit like I was hating on some of them. Not at all. Okay, so my number 3, as we move towards it, is the Yes album. Okay. Oh. Now, I love this album. Out of them all, this is probably the one I pick up the most and play, okay? But remember, my criteria is that it takes us on a journey, okay? And when I get the Yes album, I go off with Yours Is No Disgrace. Fantastic piece of music, takes us off. Love it. I love the stereo panning. I've heard people knock that and everything. I adore it. I think it's fantastic on this track.
Yeah, I like that
It kind
too,
of, you know, the way it's moving around the room and everything. I just think that's so innovative for the time. The clap or whatever it's called. If I don't hear that ever again, it'll be too soon. When I first heard it, great piece of acoustic guitar, not knocking Steve Howe in any way, shape, or form, but I've just heard it too many times at this point, and it takes me out of that journey. So I'm in the journey on Yours Is No Disgrace. Along comes clap, and I've stopped. The whole thing grinds to a halt, and then I get taken back again with Starship Trooper. Absolutely fantastic. Over onto side 2, I've seen All Good People. I'm getting a bit bored of that at this stage in my life. I must have listened to this album thousands of times by this point, but it's actually starting to wear on me. And then it takes it home brilliantly with Perpetual Change, but Adventure too is a bit kind of light. But other than that, I mean, this is probably, as I said, out of all the albums, this is probably the one I pick up the most and put on out of those albums.
And do you find then do you find, Dermot, that when they put in that live track, the clap? Because I remember when I heard that, I'm going back along when I heard that I would have heard that album back in the early 80s. And I remember someone asking me, did I get the track, the clap? And I said, do you mean, did I get the clap or did I get the actual song?
You ask personal questions.
Yeah. And I always find that song alive thrown in on that album. It kind of takes away from the album just a slight bit.
That's what I find. It just brings you out of the continuity, I think. You know?
Yeah, it totally does not belong on the album. It's a great instrumental track. Steve Howe did a great job on it. I've watched them play it live, and I go, "Oh man, that's awesome." Yeah, I love the track, but just does not belong on that album.
No, it doesn't belong there.
Yeah, and where it is, even, you know, you've just been taken off on this Yours Is No Disgrace. The imagery, you know, sailing ships, morning glory, see the human race, you know, and all this sort of stuff. It's just fantastic. You know, you're nearly looking at ruined marble cities and things, and next thing in comes this thing, like, you know, it's just.
Maybe they were trying to suck up to Steve a little bit because that was his first album with Yes, right?
Yeah.
I think it was showing off the technical expertise of their new guitars.
Maybe what they should have done, you know, when you listen to the Beatles' Abbey Road and it ends with the medley and everything, and then there's like a 30-second space, and then all of a sudden Her Majesty comes in, and it doesn't. It's there at the end, but it doesn't seem like part of the album. They probably should have done something like that with the clap.
Yeah. It's a pity you weren't in the studio, Glenn. That's all I can say, you know. Okay. So then, my number 1 and 2, right? It could be either one of these, okay? But I had to pick one. And I picked one based on the journey. Like I said, something that took me on that journey. So my number 2 is going to be Starless and Bible Black, even though I think this is like an amazing, absolutely amazing album. I remember the day I bought this and The Great Deceiver, that insane riff that this thing starts with is just crazy. Lament, fantastic. I love the kind of bitterness about the music business that comes through the lyrics of this thing as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we'll let you know, you know, that lament and all this sort of stuff. Trio, the Mincer, just fabulous. The imagery then of the night watch and Rembrandt's painting and all this sort of stuff. It just kind of, in the middle of that, it just suddenly gives you, there's a breath of fresh air, there's wonderful, there's art, life is great. And then like the description of the painting that the normal people of Rotterdam or Amsterdam or wherever it was out as the initial police force in the air. Just fabulous, you know, the way that they put that together. Starless. Then side 2 is just insane in the best possible way, you know, with Frips playing and Fracture bringing it to a close. Absolutely amazing album, but it's one that I almost have to prepare myself for and get into the right mood and, you know, burn a few joss sticks before I take it on. So, but when I do, I always enjoy it. So it's one of those ones. So the one then that takes me on a journey has got to be Nursery Crime. And it was very interesting listening to the lads there, Steve and Glenn, talking about this, especially, you know, being from North America. I kind of had the same trouble with this. This is a very English album. And it was only really when I went to live in England and I was living in the home counties, and the sounds of this thing bleed out of the buildings, the statues, the willow trees beside, that are just sitting there along the banks of the Thames and everything. It just bleeds, this album. It's fantastic. And when you put the album on, then the journey that it takes you, you go from the musical box, Harold the Barrel, Seven Stones, For Absent Friends. I'm just looking here at the tracks. I mean, the Return of the Giant Hogweed, and then finishing off wonderfully with the Fountain of Salmacis. So we go through all these, and the whole thing, like when we open it up and we have the interior, like some sort of pressed flowers and photos from it's something that was pulled out of some trunk in the attic of some Victorian house in the home county, this artifact. And it comes out and it just takes you off into this place. You're in ghost stories. You're listening to kind of funny japes about things. You're looking at the couple waiting for the bus outside the church. It is so, you can almost hear this music as you walk around those parts of England. It's so reminiscent of it. And then, to come in with the Fountain of Salmacis and go back to like the ancient Greek texts that they're reading and everything like this. It really is like something that was pulled out of this vault in the attic at some point. Love it. It doesn't stop the whole way through. That atmosphere remains through this album. So that's my number one.
Fantastic, Dermot. Yeah, fantastic.
All right,
Thank you very much for that, Dermot. Now, Steve.
Thanks, Dermot. How the hell am I supposed to follow up the best goddamn review of nursery crime I ever heard?
Oh, that's why we call him the Prog aficionado.
I'm going to sound like a 10-year-old on his first day back from school telling you how I spent my summer vacation.
No, I'm sure you'd be great, Steve. Go for it, man.
All right. Like I said, I knew right off the bat who my number 1 and 2 were going to be. Number 3 is metal. It's kind of hard to imagine that an album that opens up with One of These Days and then the other side is Echoes. I mean, talk about an ultimate bookends. That this couldn't be number 1, but it falls where it falls. Anybody ever hear the story of how that line, I'm going to cut you into pieces, how that came about?
No.
No. There was a BBC presenter who was very vocal about his disdain and dislike of Pink Floyd's music. And Roger Waters said to him, I'm going to cut you into little pieces. And so then Nick Mason just made that part of the song. So
very good.
I thought that was a cool story. All right. So number 3. Number 2 is Trilogy. My first exposure to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, my brother, 2 years older than me, he was playing pictures at an exhibition. That's a tough first listen. I don't even listen to that album to this day. I have it, but I've just never been able to get into it. So when he brought this home, I was like, okay, but then I heard from the beginning on the radio. So that was completely different than what I had been exposed to. And like all of you have spoken about it. Yeah, it's just a fantastic song. Endless Enigma. I love that part when Greg Lake goes, please, please open your eyes. I mean, he doesn't sing it. He kind of shouts it almost. So
yeah, he does indeed, yeah.
And the title track, to me, that's almost them at their peak. I can't figure out who the star of the show is there because they're all just on fire on that song. And I completely agree about Band's Bolero. It's a horrible way to end an album. It's really kind of a downer because it's just it's just
like a Martin song.
It's just very boring. So we know that leaves the Yes album as number 1. The second Yes album I got, because when I got Fragile, then I started going into their back catalog. And I mean, this has my number 1 favorite bassist of all time, my number 3 favorite keyboard player, Steve Howe, certainly top 10 guitarist. I bumped into him in a hotel corridor once.
Yeah.
He was he's a very reluctant rock star. I mean, I don't even know why I did it. I could tell he was walking away from me, and I don't even know why I did it, but I just shouted out. I said, "Steve Howe," and he turned around and he didn't say a word. And I just walked up to him. I said, "Yeah, I know you guys were in town last night. I didn't see him this time because they actually played a venue about 20 minutes from my house." But yeah, he didn't want, to have a selfie taken. I didn't ask him. I don't like to do that. But so yes, the Yes album, fantastic album, and like I think Dermot said it, still the one you play the most. It's the album of these 6 that I play the most still to this day for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Steve. Brilliant. Brilliant. Mr. Kellaway.
Oh man, toss up for 2 and 3. So I went with the one I play more often because I like them both about the same. So I went with number 3. Pat, you asked at the start of the show, you're not sure who my favorite progressive rock bands are.
Yeah.
Yes and King Crimson are up on a pedestal about 4 miles higher than all the rest, and then they fall after that. So love Yes and Crimson. But I have to put Crimson third.
Okay.
I love this album. John Wetton's vocals on here are fantastic. What a great singer. And he doesn't get enough credit. Maybe he does, and I just never paid attention for his bass playing.
Yeah, he
His
was good with
bass
he was
playing,
good with
standing on
family
this
as well. He's great voice with family as well.
Oh man, if you just pay attention to the bass on this album, it's incredible.
Yeah, brilliant bass.
The song "Lament" I absolutely love. That's to me the strongest vocal on here. Fracture. Robert Fripp started to write a song that he couldn't play. That's how he composed that. And if you know anything about Robert Fripp, he's a perfectionist, and he spends like 8 hours a day, even in his late 70s. He plays guitar 8 hours a day just so he's capable of playing songs like that. He wrote a song that was challenging enough that he couldn't play it, and it's incredible when you listen to it. Yeah, I mean, love Crimson, and I agree that Red is, with this kind of same lineup, is a better album, but this is still good. Number 2, Metal. My favorite Pink Floyd album, and unlike some of you, I like side 1. I think it's great. I think that it's playful. I love Saint-Tropez. Really kind of just want to put my feet up, and laid back song. One of these days is killer opening track. I don't even mind Seamus, who I understand the dog is Steve Marriott's dog, I think, right?
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Glenn, we pronounce that Seamus.
Seamus.
Seamus?
Seamus. Yeah,
Okay, well,
Seamus. Yeah.
okay. All right. Sorry about that. Echoes. One of the standout tracks ever from Pink Floyd. And I do agree this is a transition album, but one thing I got to say, guys, is no one's ever convinced me that Pink Floyd is a progressive rock band. I think of them as a psychedelic rock band more than a progressive rock band, and I don't hear anything other than that when I listen to their music. But the first few albums leading up to Metal, and then Metal to me seemed to be the album where they kind of went, I know where we want to go, and then Dark Side and Wish You Were Here and all that followed.
Yeah.
Definitely the transitional album where it clicked for them. Number 1 by a country mile. I agree.
Oh.
This is the album out of these albums that I play all the time. The Yes album. Fantastic. Man, not a bad moment on this. I just wish they put clap at the end, 30 seconds after the album ended, so it's not associated. But Yours Is No Disgrace. I mean, what a start. Starship Troopers, fantastic. I love Starship. That part when Steve Howe does that guitar thing and it's going back and forth from the speakers, and that's the highlight of the album for me. Just anyway, Yes album is just incredible album. Right behind Close to the Edge is their masterpiece as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, thanks for that, Glenn. Very interesting. Tom.
All right, top 3. Let's do this.
Do it, Tom.
Go for it, Tom.
I'm a little worried about. I mean, this is these three. This is. I was like, my mind was just. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, but you gotta put them somewhere. So
Yes.
so and it was interesting when I was doing this. I was like, Pat must have picked these albums because you're right. These 3 albums in particular are all albums where the band kind of hit their stride, in my opinion. Like it's kind of like transitional records where all of a sudden they found who they were. And all 3 of these records, in my opinion, starting with Metal, I'm going to go Metal. And this album, like, I mean, this was the album where even Gilmour says it, where he's like, when we did Echoes, man, we were on like it was a different level. And I mean, Echoes was such a cool track. It's like they went into the studio and they didn't know what they were going to do. They called all these things Nothing 1, Nothing 2, Nothing 3. Nothing 1 was just bing, just Rick Wright, bing, just doing the Leslie note, and then Nothing 2 was like it sounded like they're under, that part where they're doing it sounds like they're way deep in the ocean, and it's like you hear like I don't know what that sound of him. Gilmour had this thing where he put his, I don't know how he did it, but some of the wiring went backwards and it went and made that huge high noise, and so they started messing with that and experimenting with that. I don't know. Echoes to me is just, and then that. I mean, I love Echoes to death. It takes me like Dermot said, it takes me on a journey. It just takes me away, and I just think it's fantastic. I think it's Pink Floyd's first great, awesome moment. And I like. I'm with Glenn. I like side 1 as well. I like Pillow of Winds. I like Fearless quite a bit. I like One of These Days. So I mean, the only 2 songs that I think are sort of throwaway-ish are Saint-Tropez and Seamus. Those are the only 2 that, to me, are kind of throwaway tracks. But yeah, I mean, but Echoes alone just sells it for me on this one. So there you go, Pink Floyd Metal. And then, man, 1 and 2 is like, oh, you kidding me? These 2 records, what? I mean, all right, I'm going to go Yes album for number 2, but this hurts me to do this because this album is so damn good. I mean, Starship Trooper is like one of the and again, this is where Yes found their feet. They got Steve Howe in, and they really, I mean, this was a big jump from their last record, in my opinion. And I mean, things like Perpetual Change. I love Perpetual Change. I think that's a kind of a deep track, but I love it. And I love it on Yes songs too. And then Yours Is No Disgrace, of course. I mean, come on, right? So like you guys said, the clap is kind of strange in the middle of it all, but I still kind of like it. And I saw it as kind of like, hey, here's our new guitar player. Check him out. He's awesome. Like Steve Howe, he's great. Check him out. So there you go. But this is an amazing record. I even like Adventure quite a bit. A lot of people kind of rip on that track. I kind of like that track. So I just think this is a fantastic record. Great Yes album. Love it. And then, but I got to go to Pat. This is probably no surprise that my number 1 is Nursery Crime.
No surprise.
Not a surprise. Genesis is my band. And,
yeah, I know that, Tom. I know that.
Yeah, and I mean, this album again is where they found their feet. In my opinion, this is a huge jump from Trespass. Like this album, when they got Phil on drums and Steve on guitar, and suddenly they were like full cylinder, like they were just going like full on. And there's so much personality, like you guys were talking about. There's so much personality in this album. There's so many great melodies, great playing. I mean, I love Harold the Barrel. It's like a really fun song. It's really cool. You listen to it and you're like, and Phil and Peter sing together on that track. It's so cool. And then, I mean, the Fountain of Salamasis, though. I mean, that track just slays me. I mean, those Mellotron swells and you listen to what Mike and Phil are doing in the background. Mike is killing it on bass, and Phil, I mean, just like that rhythm section, they're just killing it underneath. And then like Musical Box is unbelievable. Come on, that became a live staple for a reason. And then I love Return of the Giant Hogweed's almost like the Knife Part 2, but with more gusto. And I love the lyrics. I mean, who sings about a weed growing that's getting out of control? I mean, it's like Peter Gabriel's mind is just so, it's awesome. I love it. So I can't say anything more. I just love this record to death. Nursery Crime number 1.
Thanks. You can hear Tom's passion with Genesis.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You can really hear his passion, which I love.
Very good, Tom. Great choice.
Great choice. Great choice. Right. So it's down to myself at the moment. Right. My number 3, Starless by King Crimson. This is the, if you haven't got this, lads, this is the 5.1 DVD and CD. Now I know, Glenn, you're not into the 5. I love 5.1 sound, but everyone has said everything about this album, like Fracture. Like, I think one of my favorite tracks by King Crimson is on this, and it opens The Great Deceiver. Like, you know, it's absolutely
brilliant.
incredible.
Yeah.
The way the way it just moves along and just hits you. And I remember when I heard this album first, it's gone back in the 80s, I think, early. Christ, I thought, what is it? I was saying, what the fuck is this? Like, I never heard that like it. Like, you know, that you're. And I remember saying to Kevin, I said, the fuck is that? I said, and he said, we'll give it another go. He said, we'll give it another go. And of course, eventually the rest is history. And we loved them. But when you listen to
I
it
remember,
before,
Pat, when I first got that album and put it on, I ended up jumping around the room like some demented punk rocker. I was pogoing around the place because what that album is controlled anger. There is an
yes,
anger in
yes.
that album.
That's why I
That
said,
is-
what is this? Like,
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah,
you must remember late 70s, early 80s, we were hard rock, heavy metal. And we were then going out into Prog. And some of the lads didn't go. We went out and we had to think about it. We weren't just playing the, you know, the pretend guitar and all that kind of. And when we had hair, you know, I know some of us still have it, but
yes, the bottom
anyway,
deck.
exactly. But now the top two. This was easy for me actually. The first two. Number 2 is the Yes album, and you've said it all about this. The only thing I don't is the clap. If the clap wasn't on this album at all, they took the track out. You could be on a journey then. But that breaks the journey, I think, because you know it's live, you can hear the audience. It's just, but everything else, yours is no disgrace. Like, I've seen all good people, like. And I find with that, yeah, it's prog, but you can tap your feet to this, you know? Down, down, down. You know what I mean? You know, we'd be going with that. So I just think it's brilliant. Amazing album. But for me, when I picked this 6, I knew what my number 1 was going to be straight away. Because they are my favourite prog rock band. And they always have been. Kevin will tell you that. Emerson, Lake and Palmer trilogy. You know why I love this band so much and why I love this album so much? All the other bands, with the exception of King Crimson, obviously, and of course you have a member on this who was with King Crimson, hit the ground running. Straight away, Emerson, Lake and Palmer were at it. Boom, 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 boom. The rest of them took their time. And if you notice, especially with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, they were so at it, and then they fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Where the rest of them, it was a gradual thing, and they got better and better and better. Where these just hit the ground running. And this album to me is my most played Emerson, Lake and Palmer album. And my favorite track on it is From the Beginning, believe it or not. I know it's not prog, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful track.
Great song.
You know, it's such a great song is a great song, irrespective of what genre it's in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the best of Greg Lake's ballads that he's put on the album.
Yeah, I think it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is the best of them. And I love the last track. I know you said you don't like it. Down to the down. Down to the down to down. I love it because it reminds me of a marching song. You know, we're out there. And of course, Steve No being in he was in the US Navy. Is it Navy or the
Air Force? I was in the Air Force.
Air Force? No, he was in all that regiment thing and all. It reminds me of that, yeah. Out on the thing and you're marching to this and it's on the background. We're going to kill them all. You know what I mean? And you're getting going with this. That's what it reminds me of. I absolutely adore that album. And it's the only album where they put loads of overdubs on, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And they actually didn't play a whole lot live off it because they couldn't. There were so many overdubs. And I was reading that Emerson said, after that album, he said, No more overdubs. We're going for it in the next album. And look what they brought out. Brain salad surgery. We're going for it. You know what I mean?
Have you, Pat, have you read Greg Lake's autobiography?
No, I haven't.
Man,
No.
that is a heart-wrenching book because he writes it up until the time of his death.
Yeah, he died in what, 2016 or 17?
Yeah, I was reading it on an airplane, and I'm sitting there with tears in my eyes. I mean, it's he spends a lot of time. A lot of the last chapter, he spends a lot of time with his grandson. It's a real tearjerker.
Okay, I must get that.
Yeah.
Anyone else have read that? No.
No.
No, I have not. I'd love to read it.
Yeah,
I'd like to read that. Yeah,
fantastic book.
because Greg Lake, I don't know whether you ever watch when you're on, if you sometimes on YouTube some things will pop up, and it's when he was doing his solo concert, say from 2012, 13, before he got sick, and he'd do a question and answers at the end of it. You ever see that?
No.
Yeah.
He's up there and the mic is going around to and they're asking him questions about Emerson, Lake and Palmer, obviously, but it's so, and he gives his honest answer, which I love. He's so honest. You know what I mean? And I'm not a musician, but Dermot was saying, you know the way it's Greg Lake on the bass used to follow follow Emerson's left hand, was it?
Yeah,
On the bass.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, he used to follow the left. I think you mentioned that because you mentioned that with Lewis, didn't you, Tom, on your video?
Yes. Yep.
He's a bass player, Lewis, so he'd know that they follow the. Like, he was a brilliant bass player, but because he was singing, he couldn't get into the complex. Say the likes of Steve's favorite bass player, Chris Squire, who played it like a lead guitar, basically.
Yeah.
It was like another guitar in the band.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is my final three. Be interesting to see now. I'm going to add these up. Before I did this, I don't know what anyone here knows about odds, football odds, horse racing odds. I had the favorite down. Well, I thought when I'm looking at it, I had the favorite down as the Yes album. I'll tell you now, Medal is after getting 30 points. 30. Passion Play, 14, so that's last. Nursery Crime, 42 points. Starless, 36. I think the Yes album is going to win. 52 points. And 36 for Trilogy. So it was the Yes album, number one.
Nursery Crime number 2?
Nursery Crime, I just added up again. I made a mistake now on the Nursery
Yeah.
Crime.
Yes, number one, Nursery Crime 2.
Number 2, yeah.
Then we've got Starless and Trilogy joined.
Yeah. And then we have Medal, but a Passion Play was
And then a
big.
Passion Play really fell off the.
Passion Play had to be hands down last. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have picked that. I picked the last two when I did it. I thought it'd be either a Passion Play or Medal. And I thought number 2 would be Trilogy, to be quite honest with you. I didn't think Trilogy would be so low down with somebody.
I could live with that ranking. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Well, of course you can live with it, Glenn, because you by far and away your favorite album out of the 6.
No, I just mean the whole 6 albums. I think that they fell in where they kind of belong.
I'm curious.
In my opinion,
Everybody's thought on Yes. Should they call it a day once Steve Howe is gone?
You should have called it a day when Chris Squire died.
Well,
A while ago.
I thought so too, but I mean, the fact that Steve Howe is still out there, and
It's not Yes, though, is it, Steve?
no, it's not. I mean, it's Yes by another. Yeah, it's just
Actually, they should.
in name only. You know,
It's not Yes without John Anderson, basically. Anyway,
you know what? The last album they made was pretty darn good. It was a pretty good album, and I saw Yes with John Davidson about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they put on a great show. It sounded great. It was still when Chris Squire was still in the band then, and Howe, and I quite enjoyed it. It's the only time I saw Yes, and I thought they played really well, and I really liked the last album they made. I can't remember what it's called, but it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I didn't
And I
like
think
it.
even our friend Scott from the Prog Corner gave it a thumbs up.
Well, I'd say it's an okay album. I bought it. Mirror to the Sky is the name of it, isn't
Yeah,
I
it?
don't like it.
Yeah, I bought it, and I played it a couple of times, and I thought, oh, that's all right, that's all right. And then I just copped, like, I've kind of fallen into it. These guys are trying to reference themselves and sound like Yes, but that's not what Yes is about, basically, So, but I went to see them quite recently. It would have been just before they released Mirror to the Sky. I went to see them. They were doing the Close to the Edge 50th anniversary tour, and I've seen Yes about 5 or 6 times, and I was going out with my current girlfriend, and I said to her, oh, let's go and we'll see this band Yes that I really like. And we went to see them, and honest to God, it was embarrassing.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, any other time I'd seen him before this, it was great. And it might be with Chris Squire gone, I don't know, but it was like Steve Howe and his Mary Main, and it lacked energy.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Anytime I saw Yes, there was this banging energy in him, and there was just no energy on stage with this thing. It just didn't work. And I just thought after that was it. I was after ordering Mirror to the Sky. I sat and listened to it, thought it was okay, but then after a while I thought, well, you've been had, basically, but
I personally think they're a karaoke version of themselves.
Yeah.
At this stage, it's like a cover band doing Yes.
Well, the problem, even with like the current Jethro Tull albums, I mean, are they fine albums? Yeah, you can listen to them; they're good. It's just that these bands can't compete with their classic catalogs. That's
right.
They're old as well,
Exactly.
and that's another question I would say as well.
But listen, just before you go on with that, Pat, I saw an interview there a few days ago or a few weeks ago with Justin Hayward out of the Moody Blues, and he's doing a tour, and they said to him, why don't you just call it the Moody Blues? The guy said, and he said, I'm not interested in being in a tribute band.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that's what these people are.
Basically, that's what a lot of these bands are. They're tributes to themselves.
Yeah.
Because they'll never ever, create that magic they had. They can't. They're too old.
Yeah.
Everyone's moved on. That's why I always do admire, lads. I have to say, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. One time he came back in 2007 without John Bonham, to do the Led Zeppelin thing.
Right,
He's been offered millions to come back, right? But they won't have it. Robert Plant won't have any of it.
Yeah.
They just won't do it. And as Robert Plant, I was reading an interview, Robert Plant said they don't want to become a cover band of themselves.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be bringing out much new material, and they'd be just doing all the. And then Robert Plant can't reach the heights of all those songs. He can't reach them.
Yeah, that's what Robert Plant always says. Hey, I'm not 22 anymore, man. I can't play. I can't sing like that anymore.
Can't sing like that anymore.
Yeah.
So Robert Plant now is singing. I know Glenn was on about his new album there recently on his channel.
Love the new album.
He's singing the kind of old blues songs, but that's what his voice is for. But there is one singer out there who's still as good at 80 years of age as he was when he was 22. John Anderson with the Band of Geeks.
I saw him about 3-4 months ago. I was
hearing
blown
this.
away how good his voice was.
How is he doing it? He doesn't look 80.
Yeah.
You know what?
think he's
Something very good for their age is Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes can still sing.
Yes,
Yeah,
another one.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
His new album's fantastic. I really like
Yeah,
it.
that John Anderson album, True, the one he
True.
put out last year, is probably the best Yes album that's come out in the last.
So true. So
Yeah,
true.
it is. Probably, yeah. It probably is.
So I think the answer is, Steve, yes, I think they should call it a day, really. To be honest.
Yeah, they should. I think Jethro Tull should have called it a day a long time ago as well.
Yeah.
I like the new Jethro Tull album.
I know you do, Glenn, and you know I don't like him, but I don't like Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson can't sing anymore, so he's
Can't
actually
sing well.
talking.
He
I
doesn't
want-
try and oversing. He kind of sings within his limits. And,
Yeah, but it's not the
the
same.
music's good. I really like the new album.
I know you do like him. Yeah, I know you
Yeah.
do like him, but I just think that.
Like I said,
think
I try
some-
not to compare it to Aqualung and Thick as a Brick. Like,
Obviously
if I do that, then I'm going to say, no, it sucks.
Yeah, I know that. You have to kind of look at it differently.
I can't do that. Like, I try and say they're trying to create new music and take it as that.
But I think a lot of them should
being
call
a
it a day.
legacy act is you're not just competing against other bands, you're competing against your legacy, you know.
Yourself. Yeah, you're
Well
competing.
said. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your legacy, and people will always compare it, Glenn, no matter what anyone says, to their great music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there are still a few bands out there who are, I believe, no, I'm not into the band now, but I believe the new Styx album is supposed to be brilliant. Is that right?
Pat, I
Have
can
you-
speak to this because I just saw Styx this summer. I just saw them like
Yeah,
2 months, and they were actually pretty damn good live. I was like, wow. I mean, I don't think they're using backing tracks. Their harmonies sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know, the drummer, what's his name? Todd Zuckerman. He's awesome. They were good. They were good.
yeah, I've heard that, and I saw a bit on YouTube, and they looked good.
Yeah, they look good. Exactly.
They looked good, and they didn't look how old they were, and they were still able to. And the thing is, I like about it, I'm not a big fan of them, but they sounded like Styx.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get me? That's the
Their,
difference.
their last few albums have been quite interesting. They've kind of gone into a real kind of, it's like, oh, we don't have to make albums that have to sell. And they're kind of gone into a kind of concept album thing. With
Yeah,
kind of
which is
everything.
good. Yeah, which is good.
Which
I
is
must have
great.
to pick up the new one. Yeah,
I should check them out because I just haven't bought them because it had the name Styx on it, you know. I mean,
Right. Right. And I'm
Yeah.
not a massive Styx fan, believe me, I'm not. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan at all, actually. But everyone, Pete Pardo said it's worth getting.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Pete listens to a lot of music, and he said it's not. It's supposed to be a very good album.
About the last three albums, I'd say, are kind of worth listening to anyway. You know, the one about the journey to Mars is fantastic. You know,
But I think we're all at a certain age, right? All of us.
Mm.
We're all still craving to hear a new album by whoever it is that will
Yeah.
actually blow us away.
yeah,
You know, we're waiting for that album that will come out, and we'll say, "Look, that was amazing."
Mm.
That late period comeback album.
Yeah, yes. That one album you'll say, like they had a load of crap before it, and then they'll come out with one album that's just incredible. And you'll say, "I haven't found it yet, though." But
Highly recommend this one, guys.
Oh yeah, Beat. Nice.
Right.
yeah.
I saw that concert. It was incredible, and the album's really good. I hear the CDs are a mess, but the vinyl sounds really good, and it's a triple album. It's unbelievable.
But there's one album, lads, I'm waiting for. I was just talking, Glenn, of an album that will blow us away. And I think they're recording it at the moment. King Crimson are recording a new album.
Well, that's
Supposedly
right.
they
Yeah.
are. That's
Oh,
a rumor.
nice. Okay.
And to me, that'll be straight away when I see that up, boom. Because
Yeah.
they're one of the few bands, one of the very few bands that have never made a bad album.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%.
Yeah, they haven't made a bad album. They might have made a very good album, but not bad.
No.
And there's not many bands can say that in their, you know, what bands I'm talking about have vast discography. Like we can't talk about the likes of Cream or Jimi Hendrix, as they only had three or four studio albums at most. So it's going to be very hard to make a bad one in there.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
the major bands, the prog bands. But anyway, lads, that was interesting. We have, as we said, the Yes album was #1 out of the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And that makes you very happy, Glenn.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
You're happy. And I'd like to thank Steve, Glenn, and Tom from America and Canada, and Dermot. And of course, lads, Steve, I will put up your link in the description. The same with you, Glenn, for your channel.
Thank
And
you, sir.
Go and check out Tom's as well, Curtis Mania. Tom has brilliant interviews as well. And Steve, you wouldn't know what to get on Steve's channel. And that's what I like about his channel. You will not know what you get. Is that right, Steve?
That is true. I do try to mix it up. Yes.
Yeah, you do try to mix it up. And
I
Glenn,
even do a contest every month.
yeah, and Glenn, exactly the same. And same with Tom interviews all these people. I don't know how you get him. You know who's supposed to be coming on my channel? You interviewed him a while ago. I'm not going to say his name at the moment, but I'll tell you privately. He's
All right.
going to come on it in November. You've interviewed him a few times
Nice. All right.
in November. But anyway, lads, that was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Did you all enjoy that?
Fantastic.
It was awesome.
You guys are great.
Thank you for the
And we'll do
invite.
another one very soon, lads. We'll do another one
Great
very
channel.
soon.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, yeah.
We'll do another one
The
very soon.
second, the next tier of Prog. We take 6
But
months.
yes, the bands that we didn't mention here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gentle Giant.
you have Van de Graaff Generator. There's a
Yeah.
good few other bands.
Mhm.
You have one of my favorite bands, Eli.
Eloy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
absolutely adore Eli.
Yes.
They're not big, like, you know, they're not big. Gentle Giant were never big.
No.
Van de Graaff Generator, but just because they weren't big doesn't mean to say they're not great bands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
I know
anyway,
Pat don't like it.
Camel.
Caravan.
Camel, yeah, we'd have to
Camel,
Caravan. I'd love to do Caravan.
Yes.
Me too. I'm
Caravan.
a big Caravan fan.
Yep.
yeah, I know. So is Dermot. But anyway, from Steve, Glenn, Tom, Dermot, and from me, Pat, here on Close to the Edge. Whatever you're doing, lads, stay safe, and it's nice to be nice. Until my next video, bye from me. Bye-bye, lads.
Bye.